What's popping, guys? This could be a rough time right now for everybody. It could be a little trying because it's a tough time dealing with structures right now, dealing with the weight of the economy, dealing with your household, with your lovers, your relationships, your ways of going about making your life stable, making others' lives stable. And the things and the people, places, and things that affects you right now. It could be very rough. It could be very trying. It can be a very trying time. But all I can say is, continue to persevere, because one thing is for sure, as long as you believe that light is at the end of the tunnel, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. Because the world is created off of our reality and what we believe. Everybody's perception of the world and how we go about it is poured into the world, and that's how the things that we have here for us to experience, that's how things are manifested, through what we pour into it, what we create. So we're creating these circumstances. So as long as we keep in mind that hey, we have power over our circumstances, then we should be okay. It's truly when you believe, it's when you stop believing. You start becoming too fixated on things that trivialize your overall mission. That can be very negative at these times right now, especially for your cardinal signs and your fixed signs. Because as a fixed sign, a part of your weakness, and this is wherever you have a fixed sign in your natal chart or in your house, this is where the focus is very narrow-minded. It's very, very, very narrow-minded. And it's narrow-minded in a particular way where it doesn't mean that the person lacks know-how or lacks skills or lacks abilities. But those abilities and those skills and that person, place, of things repertoire can be shortchanged. Not as much things, all those things can have energy signatures to them, but people and things have to give objects a particular energy to thrive off of. Until you do, the object, until it's wielded, it has no energy in of itself. But if you're looking at people and living things, if they share a fixated nature, one of its downfalls is going to be the lack thereof when it comes to trying to thoroughly understand a circumstance or wrapping one's mind around a circumstance. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And with more knowledge, with more information, you're giving yourself keys to success. Sometimes fixed signs have the ability to be very stuck in one's way of either fire, believing, stuck in one's own way of being practical and thought forms and concepts towards being practical. Earth. Fixated on one's way on communicating and communicating the things that the thoughts and concepts that have triggered one's way of communication. Air. And then the emotion towards it. The emotions that actually trigger the person in general. Water. So the sun right now, and then I have videos talking about the sun's significance on one's life and the moon's significance on one's life and natal chart, and how as the sun and moon are transiting, it's affecting you. So go back to my last video if you need a brush up, so that way you can apply it to this video, because I don't want to go all the way into it for lack of time. But I want to say that when it comes to the sun being in Taurus, right now at this time, with Libra being in the moon, what's being challenged again is the way in which we're going about finding and maintaining stability in the people, places, and things that are involved with us maintaining stability. Now apply that wherever you have Taurus in your chart. Now, where it gets tricky is everywhere where you have a fixed sign, that's what Taurus is going to contradict right now. It's going to be a rough learning experience if you are, let's say, an Aquarius. It's going to be a rough learning experience if you are a Leo, especially if you're a Leo. It's going to be a rough learning experience if you are a Scorpio. Scorpios can kind of get down a little bit. And I'm going to talk about that because as a Scorpio, as an experienced Scorpio, as a woke Scorpio, if you're able to pick up on the emotions and the body languages that are being projected right now, you'll actually do all right. Because that's what the moon is bringing to the table, is bringing a level of difficulty, or not necessarily level of difficulty, but is bringing a challenge, to people's hearts and to people's internal systems right now, because the moon is asking for us to be initiative and to create brand new ways. And what I mean when I say brand new, your own personal independent creative way on being a leader towards what? Air, which is communication and concepts surrounding around communication. Both aspects, both in the sun and moon, they're very heady right now, because everything is left brain. So emotions is what's taking a beating right now. Feelings are what's taking a beating right now. Although the 7th house and Venus is in the moon at this moment in time, you got to pay attention to what's being exalted in the moon, which is Saturn. Saturn's focus right now. Saturn is in Aries right now. And regardless of where Saturn is currently right now, Saturn always wants to bring about structure, things that Tauruses get down with, new levels, how one approaches their status, how somebody obtains status. Why structure is important. The intricacies as to why it is that all of these different structures, social structure, housing structure, the reason why the 3D plane even has significance and bears weight. That's what's behind the scenes with Libra being inside of with the moon being in the 7th house right now. So this is a challenging time for households. It's a challenging time for relationships, because what's highlighted is your structure sturdy? And if it is, can you continue to maintain it? In the 7th house, obviously with Venus being there, Venus is going to add that little sprinkle of appreciation and romance into the picture. But the romance isn't necessarily okay, let me put it this way. Instead of saying romance, let me say admiration, because romance can be there, but romance doesn't have to be there. But yet you can have admiration for people, places, and things, and the admiration towards your people, places, and things, the level in which there's admiration, the level in which God calls for a Libra to bring new ways on how to be a leader through means of thinking and communication. That's what will trigger a person to say, hey, you know what? I'm noticing that there's a shortage of finances. I'm noticing that there's a shortage of housing. I'm noticing like the insecurities, like the moon right now is going to call for us to all be very Libra minded, be cardinal air minded, be leadership minded, cardinal captain minded. I call it all cardinal signs captain signs. But be cardinal minded, be captain minded, and like a captain, use your field vision. And look around and say, hey, there's a lack thereof here. You know, look inside yourself, go within and say, hey, damn, you know, I'm noticing that there is a lack of some kind of structure. And that is what is either taking away from the beauty in my relationships within each structure. But if it's on the good side, then that's good. Then it'll be okay. How do we continue to maintain? How do we keep the ball rolling? How do we keep this ball rolling? If everything's on the good side, but if it's on the dark side, and I'm speaking particularly to the dark side of things, because you know the economy is in a rough time right now, and Saturn rules the economy. So, looking at the economy and it being a rough time, especially you being in the hood. Listen, look, we in Philly. I'm in Philadelphia. Okay, it's a beautiful city, but the economy has been hit hard here. You know, it's another recession. We went from almost $3, $2.98 a gallon to about almost $5 a gallon for gas now, and that's within the span of a month and a couple months and a half. You know, that's how fast inflation hit us. You know, with everything that's going on. You know, in politics and everything else, which Saturn also controls. You know, so Saturn is exalted in Libra because Saturn sees how Venus works through Libra. You know, a cardinal sign that is left-brained. You know, whereas Aries, which is polar opposite, Aries would see how to go about things to help oneself normally. Right? There's other circumstances that would, you know, trigger an Aries to do other things, but normally Aries is trying to see how it can protect itself, how it can stabilize itself, because it understands that, hey, if I'm not good, then how can I be good to anything else, right? But where Aries feels that way, a Libra is going to stand back and is able to see, is more easily able to see the full picture and how everybody around them, including themselves, is affected by a circumstance. And they'll be able to see, like, damn, you know, there's a problem here, and the problem needs to be fixed, and a Libra will naturally start coming up with concepts of how to bridge the gap of whatever is adding fuel to the fire, you know. And you know, these are the reasons as to why it is, hey, you know, I love my family, I love my relationships, I love, you know, and because I love these people and these things that need shelter and need love, and this is the reason why I'm gonna go out and buy a house, you know, so that way my loved one can have shelter, you know. This is why I'm gonna go out and hustle, so that way my loved ones can have food, you know. This is why I'm gonna you know, seek the highest heights, Saturn, climb the highest ladder, so that way in reflection of Aries, if I bring these powerful aspects to myself, if I attract these powerful aspects to myself, hey, we all gonna be good, because I know exactly what is aiding us as a unit. And if we bring these structures together, if we utilize our talents together, somehow we can bring about this purification within this unified situation. Saturn loves that. So Saturn, that's why Saturn is exalted, and that's why Libra exalts Saturn. Um, so long story short, that goes right into the sun, because naturally, Taurus, which is also home in Venus, Taurus is the ruler of the second house. These are materialistic possessions. These are your possessions, and your admiration towards your possessions, right? Your admiration towards the physical body, even, because Aries, after you develop the concept of who you are, your first house, you then came into realization that, hey, I have hands, I have feet, I have legs, I'm actually standing on something. There are things that are around me, there are other organisms that are around me that coincide and have some significance simultaneously to my own, and thus the admiration of what you possess comes into play, and the things that you can possibly possess. Now the trick that is going to be the highlight when it comes to the sun, once again, is that the sun is trying to get you to project back out into the world what is important to you right now, materialistically. What really matters most, and what are you willing to do to keep it and maintain it? And Libra is calling upon what are some brand new thoughts and actions that need to be communicated towards making that shit happen. But because it's in the moon, before you push it out, that same energy that you would push out, pull it in first. Go within first. See what is important inside first. Because air and fire and water, you can't help but to just push those things out anyway. So if it's in the moon, this is what you're pulling in first. So pull it in, see what needs to be done internally first, in a Libra way, in a cardinal air way, captain air way, and then once you have figured it out in your mind and in your heart, because it's Libra, so it's the 7th house, right? So this is the overall admiration of how you're this is the overall admiration of what it is that you're communicating for. And make it practical, make it make sense, and push that shit back out in however fixated way. Make sure that you have tunnel vision towards that goal that you came up with, and we should be able to see the promised land. And being as though Venus is home in both the sun and the moon right now, make sure that you're doing it with love. Make sure that you're doing it with the love with the admiration that's truly in your heart, or it's not going to mean anything. You know what I mean? You're not going to have the home field advantage. You're going to be trying to pull from a space that is not as digestible right now. And that might be easier to do if you're not in tune with fixated earth in the sun, or cardinal air in the moon. So listen, stay tuned. If you have any questions, Please feel free to comment on the video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. 7 to God. Stay tuned.